Hello, everybody. Trying something, trying something new today. Well, not super new, but this is doing something where I actually try to prepare a little bit before I put my thoughts out there about what it is I want to talk about. So it's been all week, actually, ever since like just right before Christmas. Nobody's around in DC. Nobody's around who even knows if anybody's watching what's been going on. But for crying out loud, um, when you can see the money being taken right away from you, right from your face, it does make you want to scream. So I was going through some bookmarks and trying to organize my thoughts about what I wanted to, how I wanted to go through this today. And this is an oldie but a goodie. Now it looks like it's for some weak need, people who really just don't know how to express their emotions. But I've done this before, and it works. Here it goes.
Today at the New York Post, we're going to be testing out the Shoutlet, a pillow being marketed as a voice suppression device that you can scream into to get out your feelings. The brand says that shouting and releasing pent-up emotions can trigger endorphins, provide stress relief, release muscle tension, and even increase energy. Let's put it to the test.
But it actually does work. That's not necessary. Okay.
I feel like I could scream in my...
I know this works. When I first was learning how to airbrush t-shirts, you end up with eventually a lot of throwaways and mistakes and things like that. And they go into this box in the back called the damage box. And so in the throes of the summer season where you're just, fast food art making one t-shirt after the next, another license plate, and just, painting your ass off, and, hot summer weather. And it's just a lot of people who a lot of times they can be rude. When you've had enough, you go in the back and you stick your head in the damage box and you scream. That's basically what this is. I've even, told my daughter, you want to, help alleviate some problems with your day-to-day, stick your face in a pillow and scream. I don't know that you need to carry a pillow around with you. That seems a little extreme to me, but there it is. So I'm just going to keep, sharing some stuff here that, let me see, where have I got? I gotta remember where all these, yeah. All right. Let's see if we get this right. I want to kind of keep these. This is nuts. I'm not a fan of the music. Although I do feel like I need to borrow it for a commercial for myself, because it's over the top. Everybody's heard it. I can't stand it. And not to belabor the point, but the amount of the thing that's frustrating about the kind of fraud that's happening in Minnesota and other states is that it's being made to look so easy, and there's no way that you can do something like this. I don't think it's possible to come from outside this system to the inside of this system and work this system the way that it's been worked without someone showing you how. It's like the bad upside down, inside out version of Mr. Incredible telling the old lady how she can not like get away with, but how the system works to her advantage. Yeah, this isn't even Minnesota. They're fighting this in Massachusetts, Ohio, Washington. you're getting paid by the government to look after your sister's children, and your sister's getting paid by the government to look after your children, because nobody is looking to see whose children are whose children is whose, and what place they are. It's just assumed that you're just duplicating a process and creating people out of thin air. Oddly enough, I find it rather amazing that on one hand, the same people that would say no, kill the unborn children are also the people who are saying, but wait a minute, you need to pay for, with state funds, by your tax dollars, to pay for children that don't exist. So it's really, in the large umbrella of things, in a wider view, make the children not exist, and then pay for the children, get paid for the children that don't exist. Some easy math here. Incredible. This is the kind of money that, like, well, to quote Paul Stanley, the only thing that money gives you the opportunity to do is forget about money. And so here it is. You know, it looks like I've got some people watching. I should probably look and see what the comments are, if there are any. All right, good. Now, I have a business on the side. I know how this works. In fact, I felt like I made more money last year than I expected to, and I ended up upgrading things that I didn't necessarily need to at the time, because I would rather, make a small upgrade and spend money on that than give the money to the government through taxes. The more that you make, the more you get taxed. And one of the ways that you can legally get away with keeping that money is if you invested in equipment that is directly tied to your business. When I was working out of the home, I was able to deduct by square footage parts of the house, of my rent. And you go to your accountant and you make sure everything's on the up and up, and you sign where it says, and hopefully the math problem shakes out in your favor, or in less in the government's favor than it should. This is like the Jake Johansson says, it's a giant math problem that the government wants you to figure out, when they already know what the answer is as to what you owe and what you could get away with not paying. They already know that answer. They want you to try to figure it out so that when you screw up, they can come and penalize you for it. But this is just, it's not even a business. They're just getting the deductions as if there was one. It's not there. It's not there. It's fake. Absolutely fake. It's creating, you're paying for ghosts. Yeah, corruption at its finest. I don't know if it's at its finest, but it's, what do you call it? It's on the way. It's a contender. Let's see. I want to make sure I've got the right buttons here. All right. I don't feel like everybody needs to see what my feed is here, like going on the sides, and then I need to get better at working this thing. But all right, let's see. All right. Yeah, there's a couple of different aspects to this that just bug the hell out of me, and a lot of it is people being stupid on purpose so that they can win an argument that they wouldn't otherwise be able to, and adhering to the tenets of like reality. You wouldn't be able to make the argument that people are, like, for instance, let's see if I don't know if I can find one here. I'm just gonna go video by video and comment on each one, because they're not in any particular order. They're just bookmarked for this for this reason here. Now I'm gonna skip out of this next one. This one is amazing. All right, I don't know if you heard that. Let me see. Share the screen again. Sharing a screen. If you haven't seen this one, it's incredible. I have not seen anyone step in their own pile of poop as badly as this. And then the best part is it happens again.
If childcare is cut, I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
Nope. It is. And she can't even. I can't even continue because what did I just... This is what it looks like when you're trying to stuff a cat back into a bag. And by the way, I don't know if you all can see this. Who knows if that's real or not? But judging by the amount of money that's getting sucked out of the system, I'm willing to bet that's real. Yeah, okay. And we're going to applaud your inability to finish because you're just so distraught. Now, everybody else that's left in this picture, this woman, I'm assuming, I wouldn't want to assume anybody's gender. This woman are the real problem. Yep. Isn't she wonderful? Okay. Now the next one's even better.
Signs over here that say stop fraud, and I agree. Stop.
All right. Here's a great one.
And I do see some signs over here that...
Let me get the volume up.
And I do see some signs over here that say stop fraud, and I agree. Stop it. There are wait lists for these programs that are years long.
Wait lists for these programs that are years long. Who is waiting for years? It seems, if I'm not mistaken, that there's one news story where multiple daycares applied for the same license and the same address, and it was approved in a day.
There is fraud.
Oh, let's get that again.
There is.
Whoops.
There is.
Not again. She can't even. Now, you thought that last pile of poop was big. This is even bigger. There is fraud.
Fraud. There is fraud. There is fraud. There is fraud. There is.
Oops.
And I do see some signs over here that say stop.
Whoopsies. Okay, let's see. This is we're just going to go right down. Okay, I want to see where daycare actually works, where something is actually a credible education. This guy right here.
On the lid is going to tell you what type of oil the freaking car. When you
listen to how these kids react to actual education from an authority figure who knows who you say. These kids are going to learn more in a few minutes here than they would at any one of those non-existent daycares in an 8-hour in an entire week.
When you look inside a vehicle, you're going to take the oil cap. You're going to look at the oil cap,
also known as the 710 cap.
I'm pulling it off for you so that you don't have to move it. You see this oil cap right here? It's going to tell you what kind of oil your vehicle uses. You understand? Yes, sir. You see right?
Yes, sir. Respect.
Right here it says 5W20. Got it? Yes, I have yet to see a car that doesn't tell you. So every car on the lid is going to tell you what type of oil the freaking car uses. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You're going to go to the parts store. You're going to say, I need some 5W20 motor oil. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
That's
sir.
going to go in this particular vehicle. Now, I like to get the best oil to use so you can go longer without getting the oil change. This motor oil. Got it?
Yes, sir.
This is a freaking oil filter pliers. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I have an oil filter wrench, but I don't change my own oil anymore. I just
Filter
take
pliers. Drain pan.
Drain pan.
Drain pan.
Like this is great stuff. Let's see him in action again here. This is something that this is like when I was teaching my kids to drive, I taught them this.
Take this freaking pad out right here. You see
You
it?
take this friggin' thing out.
Now, like I'm telling you, these don't need change. You understand? These are fine. See how thick that is right there?
This is exactly what I went through with my own daughter.
It would be way lower. Like it would be
Squealing, brake
down.
pads,
So
took the brake pads off. They were fine. She had a stone stuck in there. Yes, sir.
But that's how you replace them. You replace it the same way you take it out. You
Hands-on education. That's how that works.
Exact way. You understand? That's how you gonna do that.
I just felt like it was relevant to keep in there. There's Blondie. What else is happening today that's awesome? What all this is leading to?
Individualism with the warmth of collectivism. If our together, we will replace the
frigidity of rugged individualism with
replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
The warmth of collectivism. You know what that sounds like to me? Netflix and chill.
With the warmth of collectivism. With the warmth of collectivism. With the warmth of collectivism.
Warm for who? The warmth of collectivism. Let's use it as a what'd you call it? Like an accurate analogy. Let's say that there are two people. One of them worked and they either took the time to knit their own or buy a blanket for the cold weather, and the other person did not do that. What he's talking about, the warmth of collectivism, is taking that blanket, cutting it in half so that neither person is actually warm.
Individualism with the warmth of collectivism. If our together, we will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
Frigidity. Rugged collectivism, or rugged collectivism. That's an oxymoron. Rugged individualism is frigid.
Replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism. If our
what's so dangerous about this is that the amount that they're really good at making something that's absolutely stupid sound smart, and the only way that they can get away with it is because the rest of the electorate is so dumbed down because public schools have sucked forever. All they do is throw money at it. They don't actually educate anybody. And then they leave school not knowing how to think for themselves. So they just go for the group. The group says, vote for this guy because he's got magic powers. And that's all there is to it.
The state with money then being transferred.
Here's more about the fraud. And if I'm not mistaken, this is from a long time ago. Nick Shirley putting a video out that goes viral may be upsetting some people, but what's more upsetting is that it takes one guy on YouTube, and who knows, it might even just be that now is the right time for this, because people were talking about this years ago and nothing
in my
happened.
Home state of Minnesota, where we've got a number of daycare providers that are openly violating federal and state laws and regulations, taking money for personal use, using the money to set up a fraudulent child care client, and then providing a kickback has been reported. This is a major issue. There are allegations that, well, not just several, you've got 23 child care or daycare centers either closed or under investigation. The fraud may go as high as $100 million. Now think about that. In fiscal year 2018, Minnesota received $120 million in federal funding. The state contributed about $50 million in matching and maintenance funds. And we may have a fraud case of nearly $100 million in this state, with money then being transferred out of the country via MSP airport. This is a big issue.
Into where? Money being transported out of the country. You want to know about the daycare that was broken into and walls that were smashed in. What do you think was hiding behind those walls?
This is a big issue in my home state of Minnesota. Can you share with me what your agency is doing to investigate this? And I'm just wondering if we could not come up with some form of stricter enforcement to monitor the states that are receiving these funds.
Yes, it's called deportation.
To make certain that there's some sort of oversight here. Thank you for your testimony today.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds like a lot of people aren't going to be doing much of anything. Here we go. This is a great it's just like going to the grocery store.
The source explains daycares that accept government assistance are paid once a child is swiped in as attending. Those swipes used to occur on credit card machines like these.
When the child's not there, the daycare.
Personally, this is a little over the top. We're talking about daycare fraud. We're not talking about our national and espionage, the silhouette and the voice changing thing. And just saying, they're
still swiping these cards because they get the cards from the parents.
And when they swipe the card, the daycare gets paid.
Correct.
So they're swiping the cards even when the children aren't attending the daycares?
Correct.
Westerville Child Care is accused of overbilling the state by $113,000.
Well, is that all? So in the same way that you would use some kind of a security key to get into a hotel room or something like that, that is an indication that you are there at work in your secured area or whatever. And in this case, you are your kid is present in school.
We made contact with Administrator Halima Omar. Just so I understand, you're saying there's no issue.
We have no problem. We are good to go.
I wonder who told her to say that. Do you think she knows if she's good to go or not? Or that somebody dressed in a suit and tie with an American pin on their lapel
This
said
October
so?
2017 fraud referral sheet sent to the state claims that all children were signed out on the attendance sheet. However, there were 160 of 170 swipes between 9:58 and 10:14 p.m. The total enrollment there is 115. The owner of Westerville Child Care refutes the claim of overbilling. Omar says she had not seen the letter, even though we provided a copy to another employee a week before.
Yeah, this is where the low IQ thing comes in, because you can clearly tell that she is either covering for the fact that she's covering for the fact that she doesn't know.
You're claiming no fraud occurred.
No fraud within us. So I don't know. I actually don't know. Nobody came to me and told me there's a fraud going on.
Nobody came to me and told me that I was committing fraud, so therefore I am not.
And I believe if there is a fraud, according to me, I don't think a daycare will be working on if there's a fraud. No, I don't think so.
Some investigators found this problem is widespread all over the state.
Okay, so that's another state. I mean, take what's happening in Minnesota, and even if it's the worst case, let's say every other state is only half as bad as that. Multiply the amount of money coming from Minnesota by 25. Incredible. I don't know, man. I'm picking up on some patterns here. What was this one? No, yeah. Data Republican does a really good job. Exclusion code for the associated with this NP1 is 1128 A1. That apparently they're, what does it say? It might be over my head a little bit. It's been convicted of Medicaid, Medicare crimes. Okay, so it's always, how is it that how is it that it is so easy to defraud the government? Maybe because they're like super big, super huge. There's Ohio. What we've got here: daycare fraud, kickbacks. Yeah. Okay. So to everybody that's saying, oh yeah, by the way,
2015,
Nick Shirley is not. Nick Shirley is a fraud because minutes later you've got cameras picking up that kids are coming into the school or leaving or whatever, and if it's the Leering Center, I don't even think that they had a camera up until after his interview. So they got to put the camera up first before they can come out with video that shows that there's kids being dropped off and picked up.
As we've been reporting, these concerns over fraud, particularly in the child care space in Minneapolis, go back more than a decade, including these surveillance videos that were part of a case prosecuted by Hennepin County back in 2015. The video shows parents checking their kids into a daycare and then walking back out with them minutes later.
There it is.
Our Minneapolis Fox station reported that sometimes
you're not swiping the card. You're bringing the kid in. Look, he's here. Okay,
the kids
bye.
wouldn't even show up, and that either way, the businesses would bill the state for a full day of services. This other video shows parents.
Imagine that. you're at home with your kids 5 days a week, and a daycare sends you a bill for their services for watching your kids for those 5 days a week. And that's basically what they're doing. Only in this case, you are the government.
And allegedly receiving
money.
envelopes of cash as kickbacks from the owners. As we've been reporting, these concerns over fraud.
Unbelievable clip drops of the red pill nuke on Somali fraud. This one goes on for a little bit, maybe 2.49. I can guarantee you one thing, though. The one thing that people who disagree with what's going on here with the Leering Center, they're going to concentrate on the Star of David around her neck and blame people for it.
This scandal is totally appalling, but it is also unsurprising, and that's because it's a microcosm of what ails the Democratic elites. That's our Why It Matters segment for the night. The latest revelations join others.
I don't know what the audio sounds like for you guys. It's kind of quiet for me, and I've got it turned up all the way.
Federal funds from 14 state-run agencies dating back to 2018. Somali Americans make up 89% of the defendants charged. The absolute scale of the fraud.
Okay, so the question is, if this is racist, if this is prejudiced, then are stats a race? Because in order to call this racist, you have to be racist against numbers, against math. But then I don't know. I'm sure that's a problem.
Just beggars belief. Where were the spot checks? Where were the officials? It seems totally impossible that the Democratic leadership was not somehow in on this.
Exactly. If you're coming from a foreign country and in that foreign country has, well, just as an example, it's like country, fill in the blank, and you import a bunch of people from that one country. And yes, let's say that they have a propensity for just scamming people. It's part of their culture. And there's no way around it. It's just how they grew up. What you're looking at here is people with a propensity for scamming, and they're all scamming the same scam. If there was a bunch of people from another country with a propensity for scamming, you would see a variety of scams. You'd see some people out on the street selling fake movies or doing a 3-card Monty or something like that, or selling lemon used cars or something. But this is all the same scam. That's what's suspect about it. It's scamming the government. It is not scamming individuals one at a time. It is scamming all of us en masse through the government that's supposed to be looking out for the stuff. Of course, they're not. They're getting paid. They are.
Think about how outrageous this is. You are wondering whether you can afford to have another child because childcare is so expensive. Meanwhile, a group of Somalis in Minnesota got $110 million for childcare centers that don't exist. You can't afford to buy a home, but 100 Somalis spent millions on luxury properties, millions of your taxpayer dollars. You're paying $30,000 a year for terrible health care, and they got millions for healthcare centers that they never opened for patients that they never serviced. But the fraud is a microcosm of an illness that plagues our political elites, especially on the left, more broadly.
Yeah, this is a lot of stuff that we've already heard before. If you want to, check it out, this go ahead. It's all over the place. Let's see. What is this account? Yeah, it's a Bill Mitchell post. I don't know that I agree with everything the guy says, but that particular video is pretty good. Okay. Let's get into some craziness. This guy is doing that whole tongue-in-cheek, yes, it's okay to do violence to people that I disagree with. And I believe that so many people believe what I believe, that I'm not going to get in trouble for vocalizing it on social media.
Okay, this punk ass little fucking racist.
Well, okay. Ass effing racist. I mean, it was one. It's one thing to have an argument and start there and then move into the ad hominem attacks, but it's another thing to just start there.
Okay, this punk ass little fucking racist white dude in Minneapolis, Nick, whoever the fuck he is.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't really say what his name was, so that's my out, Your Honor.
TikTok. Y'all know what you're doing.
Yeah. I was talking about the social media platform. That's what I meant to say. TikTok. Right.
Doing well. Fuck that dude.
Yeah, except.
Okay, this.
Okay, now let's hear him talk about how
I'm going to jump on here and just get something very, very clear. I don't do anything to anyone. I don't.
Of course not. I don't do anything to anyone. I try to get other people to do things to anyone.
Come on. Anyone's post and comment other than a little heart if I like it. If I don't like something, I scroll by. I definitely do not make any kind of something really bad for anybody. I want everybody to do whatever they want.
I do want everybody to do whatever they want, except for the people that I don't like. In which case I'm going to hope and maybe even, make sure everybody leave that Nick guy alone.
Lives. I call out the truth. And what I said in my post was that I wanted the truth to come out from the people, assuming I'm a very blunt person. So I do say directly what I mean.
Okay, whatever. Yeah.
Assuming
a blunt instrument, if anything. Good Lord. I need to talk to, I need to listen to somebody who actually makes sense.
To look like a country that I am no. Has anybody else started to reach their breaking point or a boiling point? So this is starting to look like a country that I am no longer proud to have served.
Starting to?
I've been working my entire adult life. And I have paid half or more than half back to the government in some way, shape, or form in taxes.
Which, let's be honest, ever since 1913 and even before that, it's absolutely, totally feasible to be able to just not have income tax. When I am selling my product to somebody, I'm not taxing them. I am giving them a trade. Your money, you agree it's worth this much, and I give you the thing, and we agree that what you got, what you paid for, and I got what I worked for. And that's that. When we start doing trade that way, then we probably are going to be able to eliminate some of this income tax. I don't think that tariffs don't work. I think that they're a negotiating tool, just like anything else. When you're negotiating for a used car, you are negotiating how much or any car. This is what we say the car is worth. And then we're going to negotiate a price until what you decide to tax me for is exactly what I think this thing that I'm getting is worth. It really is kind of that simple. I'm sure it's a little bit more, delicate than that, because we're talking about two countries doing business together, but that's what it is. It's my car doesn't keep except for the gasoline, but that's a different commodity. Who knows? Maybe the analogy is falling apart, but we shouldn't have to pay income tax. We all go to work. We all produce a service. We all produce a product. The country sells that to another country for something, and that we get in return, whether it's another product or money. Capitalism.
For the past 30 years. And if you don't believe me, look up everything that you have that is taxed. State income tax, federal income tax, property taxes, payroll taxes, Medicare taxes, Medicaid taxes, sales taxes. Everything is taxed. Everything. And we have a political apparatus where half of them say that if you don't keep us in power, we will steal from you so that we can import people that will.
Is exactly what's happening. He's putting it pretty plainly. We had an immigration system in the 1920s. There was like right around, I don't want to say the turn of the century, but right about the Industrial Revolution, and we were importing nations that we had a similar, I want to say like a similar culture to, because similar, not exactly the same, but a similar culture to, because we were going to have to be able to work with the people that come in so that they can, work in a coal mine, work in a factory, grow from there. The country is growing. We need help. But we wanted people here who wanted to be Americans because they saw this as a land of opportunity. Those are the people that actually built the country. The people who came here and the people who invited those other people in. We did not invite anybody in here with the specific purpose to defraud us, unless they're getting something in return, which is a vote.
So shut up and go back to work. And another side of the aisle that is either in on it or is totally complete chicken shit and won't do anything about it.
And this is how 2026 is going to get lost. This right here, this exact thing. I don't see the point of going to vote in the midterms unless I see some results from before then. Something's got to happen. I need to see perp walks. I need to see handcuffs. I don't want to see somebody on the way. I want to see somebody in jail. I want to see somebody kicked out of the country for doing this. I want to see many people kicked out of the country for doing this. Not because they're black, not because they're white, not because of where they're from. The one color that I care about is green. How much can I make? How much do I have to spend on nothing? And if I'm spending all this money in income tax to fund a government that's not going to protect my interests, then what's the point? I go to work every day and I've got my, side business, and I have to pay taxes on both of those things. I really don't like it. I don't want to have the side business, but so much of my resources are getting sucked into a black hole of people that do absolutely nothing. What's the point? Why go vote? Why go vote? Why not just hide as much crap as I possibly can, bury it deep within the earth? And I don't know, man, when the IRS comes looking for it, be like, I don't know, I lost it all in a boat accident. But I don't know how it's at some point people are going to get upset and people are going to get hurt because nobody is doing, like, there is an apparatus out there that's supposed to keep us from hurting each other, and it's not happening. It's if you see somebody getting robbed or raped or or just beaten into the ground, and you see cops standing there not doing anything, wouldn't you be obligated to go do something? That's en masse, I feel like, and this guy sounds the same, and it's all over social media. It's going to be a matter of survival. We've got to go and take care of it ourselves. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. I do not like the prospect. I do not like the sound of that. I like being inside a house with heat. Okay, anybody who doesn't admit to enjoying their creature comforts lying off their ass. I'm already busy enough. I don't want to have to go and I don't want to have to go do that.
And won't even try to actually represent the people that vote for them. Is anybody else getting to a point where we feel like we cannot vote our way out of this? Where does that leave us?
It is very much a do your job. The amount of money that you're getting paid to be a representative of this country, the amount of money that you're getting paid, and let's not even get into the amount of money that you're paying yourself because you've got inside information. You can trade stocks all over the place. I don't even know that people wouldn't be willing to look the other way for something like that as long as you did your goddamn job. vote on something when it comes up. There's great things coming across the president's desk. They're all executive orders. They could all be codified into law if you just did your job. You know what the strange thing is? Like, it would be great if the Republican Party had some balls, but I think the only place they're going to find them is with the girls that are, or the guys that are dressing up like girls on the other side. They've actually got more balls than the GOP. It's embarrassing.
Because nothing is going to happen about the fraud. Nothing. All of the fraud that Elon Musk and Doge exposed, the Republican Congress put it on the back burner and refused to fucking vote on it. Turned around to the American voter that put them in power and extended one of these. It doesn't matter what we do. This situation is completely freaking unsustainable. Totally
there's going to be a point, and as I said before, it's going to be at 2026. If the Republicans lose the midterms, this is going to be the one time where I think every Republican will be able to say, every Republican voter will be able to say, you deserved it. You deserved to lose because you didn't do the work. And if the entire thing goes to shit, and all of a sudden we do find out that there's a gun behind every blade of grass, not looking forward. I am not looking forward to the mess, and there's absolutely no one to blame except for the GOP. It's not like we don't know what the other side wants. We saw it during COVID. We saw it all through the Biden years. Okay. They want to, man, it's nuts. They want to kill your kids before they're born. Okay. They want to, do the most evil things with them after they're born, and import everybody else. It's an absolute rapé of the American people.
completely unsustainable. It's a waste of time to vote, and it's a waste of energy to pay taxes so that we can give it to people that are going to steal from us, and then we can send it to other countries that hate us. And we can
let's not even get into the amount of money that's leaving the country through this fraud to fund a terrorist group. And look, there are so many dogs yelping on X right now. It's like when Nick Shirley put that video out there, he just started throwing rocks at the entire pile of dogs, and they're just yelping all over the place. You know, the saying, if you throw a rock into a pack of dogs and one of them yelps, the one that yelps is the one you hit. A lot of yelping dogs out there.
People in the European Union that look down their nose at the American worker and say, good little bitch, go back to work. It's putting us in a helpless situation, and I don't think the people in Washington living in that bubble realize the anger that is fuming outside of the borders of that city. And I am not interested in watching another fucking theatrical congressional hearing where a couple of ballsy Republicans bitch out a fucking corrupt leftist and then nothing happens.
Exactly.
Accountability and a fucking tax strike is what needs to happen.
Yep, that kind of thing is going to have to be organized. You can't do something like that without some kind of leadership. And the only way that you can effectively coordinate something like that is on social media. And guess who's watching social media? The government. Okay, and the only time people can organize to that extent to create some kind of like a tax strike, which our friend is talking about there, it's going to be on social media. The only time something like that happens where there's follow through, it would seem, is if there's a as we've seen in the past, people coordinating over Facebook to commit a crime that the government is somehow in favor of. You know, and then we're all going like, oh, I wonder how that happened. I mean, they're watching social media.
Can I get papers?
Come back on.
Hold on, man.
Well, yeah, the Leering Center.
So what?
So other people are going up to the Leering Center. And you'll notice they changed the sign because that was embarrassing. And they also added a camera within record time. When if I'm not mistaken, when Nick Shirley did this original, his original post, that camera wasn't there. So how did they get video of
I'm
children
just trying to enroll
coming
my
and going?
kid. Can I enroll my kid? His name's Abdi. Abdi.
Was he wearing a COVID mask for? There's no COVID right now. Okay, this guy doesn't care what he looks like.
Come back to us when we're open on regular hours.
It's 3:48 on a Tuesday. This is now business hours.
Yeah. You're not going to get anything. Yeah. Okay. This guy. Okay. This is from what? 2015. 2015.
How significant is this problem? Massive. They don't want a fraud unit to do anything. They want a fraud unit on paper.
Halicki was fired in 2013 while in the midst of a big investigation.
Whoops. Must have been getting somewhere. He must have figured something out.
The county claims he was an insubordinate bully.
Another bully? Are you kidding me? I thought just Trump was a bully. Trump and all the Trumpies and the MAGA people are bullies. Please, will you please? The left is so good at being creative. I mean, that Hollywood and music and everything like that. But when it comes to this, you can't come up with another word besides bully and racist.
Whose tactics were hampering efforts to catch welfare cheats.
They don't want to point fingers at various organizations and people. This is nothing but a giant cover-up.
Reports on Deco daycare centers. We uncovered evidence the company was collecting millions in public subsidies for providing bogus child care services to low-income families.
In essence, this scheme
2013
was really involved creating a criminal enterprise.
In December, Ramsey County charged Deco's owner with fraud.
The daycares that I'm going to be showing you from this point on all bill over $100,000 a month.
$100,000 a month to the government. And this is 2015. 10 years ago, $100,000 a month. It's been going on for that long. Holy shit.
As before he was fired, he was tracking a similar scheme in Hennepin County involving multiple child care centers.
7 a.m. to 6 p.m. There are no lights
on.
This building is housing its third daycare center in as many years.
They just got a new license.
The two previous daycares had their public subsidies stopped by the county because of billing irregularities.
Hour after hour, I would sit here and document nothing.
Halicki discovered one center was charging the county for kids who were never dropped off. He took us to center after center that had no sign outside.
It's bad enough they try to kill the kids before they're born, but then you get to pay for the ones that didn't exist in the daycare. It's like just phantom children that people are paying for.
Against us while we import people to be put on the welfare state.
Now, anybody, if anybody's, I think Chip Roy is running for Senate in Texas. You really need him in there. Yeah, I mean, like, you really do.
Occur. The Somali community knew.
Wait, I just want to back up really quick and see. You see right over the door here, no camera. At the time Nick was doing this, his original video, no camera over the door.
He knew full well what they were doing. It's a part of an enterprise-wide effort that's global,
no camera,
tied to the United Nations, tied to world organizations, NGOs, our own taxpayer dollars that are being used against us while we import people to be put on the welfare state, to be put on Medicaid, and to take taxpayer money. It's
the land of opportunity. Doesn't quite ring as sweet these days as it did when it actually meant something.
It has to be stopped, and people need to be removed, deported, denaturalized, and sent back to Somalia.
Exactly. See, being an American doesn't mean you're inside the borders. I don't even think like you're being born here makes you an American. You need to be, you're supposed to be. Okay. I can't claim that I'm a football player unless I'm actually in the game and on the field. I can say that I'm a fan of football if I'm in the stands or watching on TV at home, but I am not literally a football player. I don't know that you can be considered to be an American unless you think and act like an American when you don't think and act like an American. And if you don't know what that means, then maybe you should learn. For fuck's sake. Pardon my French. This a little bit longer, but
Kerry, we went to the chief investigator, a man named Jay Swanson, and we asked him to write us his perspective on CCAP fraud. And he did, and it's in the report. It's the Appendix B. So entirely what Mr. Swanson wrote to us, you can read. So essentially, what did he tell us in that document? He told us that he and his investigators believe that there are 100 centers, child care centers, that are so deficient in their billing practices, so suspect in their practices, in fact, that he believes that those characteristics plus others, such as the quality of care that they provide, characterizes in his mind those 100 centers as fraudulent centers. The allegation is that CCAP fraud money sent by individuals in Minnesota has been obtained and used by terrorist organizations in foreign countries.
In 2019, they knew this.
Again, what are the facts? The facts are that you can read many federal law enforcement reports that say that terrorists in foreign countries, and specifically in Somalia, obtain and use money transferred from the United States to foreign countries, again, including Somalia.
It's like that cartoon of ants at a picnic. You know, you see a line of ants all leading up to the picnic basket. You've imported them, and now they're transferring food out into the colony of ants. They've invaded your picnic basket, and now they're taking all their stuff back to the hive.
It's also a fact, undisputed, that there are many individuals in Minnesota with connections and family in Somalia that send money there. They send it as remittances. That's the term typically used to aid their families, support country, and many people in this country who are here send money as remittances. They engage in money transfers in a variety of ways. They send them by wire. They send them in cash. So that is a fact.
In cash.
It is also a fact that there are people in Minnesota who have been convicted of providing material to support to terrorist organizations, including in Somalia.
And I submit that some of the representatives, looking at you, Wilhan, are guilty of this.
What is our assessment? We did not find evidence, hard evidence, to substantiate this allegation. And again, this is a very specific allegation that CCAP fraud money has been sent from Minnesota to a foreign country and that it ends up in the hands of a terrorist organization. That is a very difficult thing to prove. So we cannot say definitively.
You know, yeah, the guy that's shooting at me, I want to buy him some bullets. I'm not going to go through this one. That's too long. Let me just let's see if I've got something. Oh, this is almost sad.
About this whole Somalian fraud.
The dynamic at play here that this guy he's talking to his Somali neighbors. I'm sure they're very nice to each other and stuff like that. But and maybe this is a good thing. Maybe this is a glass is half full thing. I tend to be glass is half empty because it's like driving behind somebody who's slow in the left lane. Why are you here? How do you not understand the rules of the road? How do you not understand how this works? This guy is getting a first hand lesson in jizya and takia.
I got Somalians as neighbors, and I talked to one of them, and I asked him about this whole Somalian fraud that's going on in Minnesota. And one of the guys explained it to me this way.
Hey, thanks for the iced tea. Now about that fraud.
He said back in Somalia, a lot of them come from clans. And Muslims have this thing where their spoils, even their Prophet Muhammad, whatever,
it's probably a good
he
way to
would
put
go
it.
out and plunder
Spoils.
people, and the spoils of war would be considered rightfully theirs.
Now, spoils of war is not an inaccurate analogy in my opinion. Warfare takes different shapes and forms. Intellectual warfare, propaganda, getting into the schools. It's like kinetic warfare's. It's everything can be used as a weapon. It just depends on what the target is. Your hearts and minds, the will of the people, those are always targets.
And whenever they would go to a place and they would subjugate the non-believers, they would put a tax on them. So he's like, the Somalians believe in Minnesota, their plunder is rightfully theirs, and it's just a tax that the white people are paying for the Somalians to the Muslims, to the non-believers. And so they do not comprehend the Western laws. They don't understand it. It doesn't compete to their Sharia law that they're practicing. And
they don't want to understand it. What they're betting on is, that was an old ticker. What they're betting on is that we won't care. We'll be nice. We'll be understanding. Oh, I understand we have different cultures, but the melting pot and blah, blah, blah. By the way, the melting pot doesn't have anything to do about food. It has everything to do about making a stronger alloy from different kinds of metal. When the term the melting pot was coined by, and I want to say it was it Roosevelt? I'd have to look it up again, but it's from back then. Yeah, based on a play that he saw. The melting pot has to do with making something stronger, not making it taste good.
So this outrage, and so he explained this one little thing to me. He's like, in their religion, they're permitted to lie.
It's called
so
tequila.
When you see all these Somalians in Minnesota, being outrageous that their fraud is being exposed, he's like, they're permitted to lie. They're permitted to tax the non-believers.
Now, once you find out that someone's belief system permits them to lie, how are you supposed to believe anything that they say ever after that? They could say something like, I believe that the superior toppings on a pizza are pepperoni and mushroom. And maybe there's no reason to lie about something like that, but I can't believe it. It's like your belief system, Islam, is like a plate of chocolate chip cookies and one of the chocolate chips is a rabbit turd. And I'm not going anywhere near it because there's a chance that I'm going to bite right into that. But there it is, right there in your religion, a little rabbit turd called "We get to lie to you." Why should anybody who believes that be trusted?
They're permitted.
I wouldn't expect anybody to believe in Christianity if that was one of the tenets. But it does not say that. It says, do not bear false witness. One of the main foundational Christian tenets.
To practice their Sharia law, they're permitted to plunder because in their belief system, it is rightfully theirs. So they don't understand why all these people are upset about, all this fraud that's going on, because they've been practicing all the stuff they've been doing in Somalia. They're just brought there.
Also correct. I'm glad I'm glad he got through. And just in case people think that this has anything to do with racism or color, it doesn't. Again, it's not black, it's not white. It's about green.
If Nick Shirley is lying, then prove him wrong. But they can't do that. You actually have him now on CBS. A lady did a report where she called some Somalian daycares that was on the list.
Yeah, she calls the daycares. He actually goes to the daycares. And I think he's about to tell us that this lady calls and gets, and only one of them answers.
One of them answered. She even said that, which actually proves Nick Shirley right. Then they're also coming out saying that this is racism. This ain't racism. It's obvious what's going on. This is a community of people.
Because his money's getting stolen too. Everybody who works for a living and pays income taxes, their money's getting stolen.
Who are defrauding the American people. So all of these folks who standing behind them, y'all making fools of yourself, because you know what? They're conning and frauding you and got you standing behind them for help. And y'all falling right into the trap, which don't make no sense to me. And then this whole Leering Center thing, and I got to get one of them sweatshirts from Nick Shirley. But this whole Leering Center thing, is that not obvious to you that a place that is called supposed to be called?
Yeah, that's an easy.
If you go online, there are tons of videos now where people are coming out, not just from Minnesota, but from Maine and other states that are reporting these same issues with Somalians and these daycare centers.
And thank God for that. Now, if it's the same people from the same place doing the same scam, daycare centers, this is nuts here. And of course, the replies have been turned off because Mehdi Hassan, he can't take being ratioed, I guess. Find me the conservative parents with kids in daycare who would be okay with a group of anonymous men, some masked, some with cameras, being allowed without their permission into their kids' daycare in the middle of the day to film their kids. Okay, let me explain to you how this works. For those who don't know, I married a daycare worker. In fact, that's where I met her. The joke was, if you want to find a good woman, you can go to church or you can find them in a daycare. Because I would pick up and drop off my kids that I've had from a previous marriage. And there is a foyer. I think they're both acceptable. One glass door, another glass door with a keypad at the time. That's what the tech that they were using. And if you had a kid that was in that school, you knew what the keypad, what the combination was. And every once in a while it would change. It didn't change as often as you might think, but because you've got kids that have parents, and sometimes those parents break up, it has to be agreed upon who is picking up the kids when. Some of those relationships go absolutely south, and one parent is going to be allowed in and the other parent will not, and they'll change the combination and then inform everybody you've got a new number to remember. And it was a pain in the ass sometimes, but we all understood what the point was. When I was talking with my wife the other day about this, and I was like, it's been a while, kids are in college and married and off and stuff like that now. So it's been a long time, but there's a protocol, if somebody is suspicious outside of a daycare and they are what the left claims, this dork claims, what happens is they lock the doors. And I said, and then what? And she goes, well, we lock the doors. And I go, and then what's the next step? We call the cops. You lock the doors and you call the cops. Okay. When you have that, worst paranoid fantasy stranger walking around the daycare outside, and he's like looking in the windows and touching himself, you lock the doors, you get the kids away from the windows, and you call the cops. That's what happens. Has Nick Shirley been approached by any police? Did anyone call the cops because some creepy guy was hovering around a daycare with his camera, taking pictures of kids or whatever? No, that's not what happened. They're lying. This right here, Mehdi Hassan, big yelping dog. All of these people getting hit with the rock. He threw a rock into a pile of dogs, and now he's yelping. This chick is absolutely off the rails. And one of the reasons why we've got the problem that we do with these people, and I'm talking about like people on the left, is that they don't have the ability or the preference to live within the confines of objective reality. Okay, that's where you're going to find people who want to change their bod. be a furry or some weird thing, and it's always revolving around sex. Ugh, why is that? Ugh. Gross. Living in a world of fantasy, can't handle objective reality, can't live within it, can't accept it, and so therefore I'm just going to pretend something else. And this one is way out there.
Somali people are not scamming Minnesota. Like, the American tax dollars that Minnesota generates belongs to Somali
See, they're not scamming. It just belongs to them.
people. The state, along with all of its money, has been promised to us 3,000 years ago.
3,000 years ago. 3,000 years ago. Well, that's older than Christianity, isn't it?
So it's like, what are people cracking down on? Like, this is us collecting our debt. Like, it belongs.
Collecting their debt. 3,000 years ago, nobody knew what America was. Debt from who?
Somali people are not scamming Minnesota. Like, the American tax dollars that Minnesota generates belongs to Somali people. The state, along with all of its money, has been promised to us 3,000 years ago. So it's like, what are people cracking down on? Like, this is us collecting our debt. Like, it belongs to us.
This is like, us collecting our debt, yo. It's like these Somali people, it's like we deserve it because somebody made some promise like 3,000 years ago. Where is she even from?
Tell you something.
More fatigue. This is gonna be my last guy. This is my last proof that it's about the green. It ain't about the black or the white. It's about the green.
Be online making threats talking about, yeah, go to work, yeah, do this, that, and the third, working 50 hours a week, why get benefits? And then you got the other damn somebody talking about, yeah, Trump not going to be around to see that we take it over. Let me tell you something right about now. All that damn trash talking, you better hush your damn mouth. You want to know why? Because we are not playing no damn games. And then at the same damn time, you talking about taking over. That is a declaration of war. That is really a threat to national security. Why? Because you are a foreigner. You are an immigrant in this country, really a refugee, and you over here running your damn mouth when you already are outnumbered, outmanned, and outgunned. You are not with the smoke, let me tell you. You do not want the smoke as an immigrant. You want to know why? Like I said before, we got guns in the black community, guns in the white community. It's veterans in the black community, veterans in the white community. Both communities know about war and know about guns. And let me tell you something. Even though we might have our differences, but if it comes down to us defending our country from anybody that's up there making a threat, let me tell you something. We would put all that aside.
You see, it's not just me. It's not just a lot of people who are like game planning something out. And it's the kind of thing that you do like when you're driving. Okay, when you're driving, you just staring at the car in front of you. Are you trying to look at the car 8 cars down? Because when he slams his brakes on, you better be ready. The brakes are about to get slammed on this. I honestly, when somebody says, this election is the most important election, whatever, in 2026, the Republicans are going to find out if they've got nothing to show for it. If they've been sweeping the floor and there's no dirt in the dustpan, find somebody else to do it or get the fuck out of the house.
And we will come together and defend. Let me tell you something. Stop running your damn mouth. That's one of the main reasons why we want a lot of y'all immigrants out. Why? Because you were very hateful and very ungrateful. And I'm tired of your own here running your damn mouth, talking this, that, and the third. I'm sick of y'all doing that. But then at the same time, you want to be waving the flag of your country and you love your country so damn much. Why the hell are you here? You over here from another damn country that you did not fight or bleed to die for, did not build, and you running your mouth? You up there trying to make damn threats? Let me tell you something. You better keep your damn mouth shut. We're not playing with y'all. You don't want no damn smoke.
I like this dude's name. Truth Be Cold. COLED. I think his name is Cole. I could be wrong. All right, for crying out loud. I'm kind of done talking about this. I mean, I'm done talking about this today, but man, it's getting weird out there. In 2026, we got to see some results. We don't see any results. You're not going to see any results. Okay. you've got the judiciary, you've got the executive branch, and to the slim margins that we've got the legislative branch, all three branches of government, and still nothing can happen. Man, if you can't get the job done right, do it yourself. That's what these guys are saying. That is what they're saying. But I don't know. This was kind of hobbled together. I'm alone in the house. The other family members, I've got, they're out watching a show downtown. So I waited for them to leave, feed the dog, throw some stuff together. And, I don't know. I didn't want to waste any more time on it, but appreciate you guys watching, all 5 of you. Thank you very much. And I will see you guys on the next one. Who knows? I might plug in something to do like like an art stream later, but I don't know. Everybody else is spouting off about this. I figured I could too for an hour and 11 minutes. Peace out. God bless.